You can start as an entry-level draftsperson. You can go into a landscape field. You can use the software that I teach you. You can become your own entrepreneur and do construction and design work just using the software I teach you. You can also take what I teach you and advance to become an actual registered architect by taking the required education beyond there. And there are other software packages that are very similar. So if you can use one of the CAD software, you can probably use other packages that are used in many different industries these days. And some of my students have actually gone into totally almost unrelated fields from construction, but still very successful because they're able to use the CAD software. Some of the benefits that you can get by taking my class is you're going to learn some of the most current 3D modeling software and CAD programs that are available. We use these programs to create blueprints. We create three-dimensional models. So you're going to learn some of the things that you would do after you left school, and as you advance maybe in your education, you'll know how to do 3D modeling and make blueprints as well. You're going to thrive in the CAD program if you are someone who likes to know how things are put together, the details of things. The best way I can describe it is if you like putting Lego houses together and snapping them together and taking them apart and putting them back together, all those little parts that go together, those are the things that I find the most successful students in my class might enjoy. I try to keep the technology out in the forefront. Software packages change, they update every year, and so I try to have the latest version of the software available to you. I'm always looking for something new that comes along. For instance, now I've got a tabletop 3D printer. I started with a very large 3D printer in the beginning. They've taken them down to tabletop size. And now there's another type of 3D printer that I'm going to bring in that has, it's a resin based, and so as the technology advances, I like to keep advancing with it and make my program relevant by keeping the technology current. In the Toledo area, I work with SSOE, I work with a couple other local architects, more small shops, and they tend to have my students stop in, observe them, maybe do a shadowing day and that type of thing. Also, there are some firms that you might not think would be interested. There's a lighting firm that I've worked with. There is a firm that designs boxes that I've worked with. And so those are maybe your non-traditional type of CAD usages, but nonetheless, a good CAD operator can still be used in a lot of different industries these days. Growth potential for this field for using CAD is right now very high. And like I've mentioned, so many disciplines use CAD that maybe had not considered using it. The industry, by using the cloud computing, most places, most companies are using tablets now out in the field. If you become familiar with the software, any construction industry needs like a drawing coordinator that would take this information that the architects are designing and they take it out in the field, and maybe the old days of having blueprints out in front of you have become blueprints on a tablet. And so the growth potential is really taking off by using all this technology that's being developed. So if you're considering CAD, coming and using my machines and coming to my program would be a good way to kind of dive into it. You can kind of wet your toe at first by doing my design class, and then if that really sparks your imagination and maybe thinking what you could do, coming into my block class, my CAD 1 program would really dive you into it. You're going to enjoy coming into class and telling me about what your ideas are and using the software, and I always try to stay current with my students and make sure that they don't struggle, questions get addressed quickly, and I do care about my students and want to make sure that they're getting the best education I can provide them.